From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
This is a WUFT News update. I'm Samantha Narson.
And I'm Ophelie Jacobson. Thank you for joining us. The Alachua County School Board held a meeting discussing the evaluations of Superintendent Carly Simon this week. WUFT's Ethan Budowsky walks us through what some refer to as a tumultuous time at the school board.
It has been a difficult run for Carly Simon since she took over as superintendent in December 2020. Now things are reaching a boiling point as her job is on the line. I went out today to find out how it got here and what comes next.
Contentious times on the school board.
Excuse me, Ms. Certain. Excuse me, Dr. Paulson.
Superintendent Carly Simon is under fire by her peers after 3 poor evaluations. Now, a formal review of her position will take place.
Thank you, Ms. Certain.
District 1 member Tina Certain believes Simon was doomed from the start.
It seems now we've got the DeSantis appointee on the board trying to lead the charge to remove our superintendent, and it seems that we have a couple other board members that are there that are still stuck on the appointment.
Certain said that Simon's strong response to COVID-19 put her on the hot seat right away. When Simon took over, she went against Governor Ron DeSantis and put a mask mandate into place.
Ms. Russell.
District 2 member Mildred Russell was appointed directly by DeSantis after Simon went ahead with the mandate. She was one of 3 members to give a negative review of Simon. We reached out to the 3 members of the school board who gave negative reviews of Simon. None of them were available for comment. Certain is one of 2 members that gave a strong evaluation of Simon.
It was a confidence in the work that she's produced this past year. Like I said, the direction that she's received from the board in managing, we decided to go with masking.
Lucretia Beard has 2 children in Alachua County Public Schools. She supports Simon's initial handling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
The kids shouldn't be in school right now, and the parents can't come to school, so we can't really monitor our kids and go and check on our kids like we want to. It's just not really fair.
Regardless, school continues, as does the evaluation of Simon.
A decision about Simon's job will be made at a school board meeting on March 1st. After that, 4 seats will be up for election come November.
UF filed notice it will appeal a federal judge's ruling stopping it from enforcing a stricter conflict of interest policy. 3 faculty members and researchers, all election experts, filed suit after being initially rejected for outside pay to testify in a lawsuit challenging new election rules. They were told it could be only at their own expense and time, since the lawsuit is against the state and they work for the state. UF relented in the elections case, but will appeal the judge's injunction against the broader conflict of interest policy.
A domestic dispute left 3 dead in Miami Lakes, Florida. Miami-Dade police say a man shot and killed 2 of his kids, a 12-year-old girl and a 9-year-old boy, before killing himself. The shootings took place about 9:30 last night near a pond close to a grocery store. The mom told police her ex had picked up the kids earlier and she'd been trying to get them dropped off because it was getting late for a school night. People who live nearby described a chaotic scene and were shocked to learn what happened. As Ukraine asks for more help, the U.S. and Western allies are scrambling to present a united front against Russia. NBC's Aaron McLaughlin reports from Kyiv.
The Ukrainians have been pushing for more lethal aid from the West. Today, they received another shipment from the United States, part of a $200 million package. They've also been pushing for more sanctions. They'd like to see sanctions sooner rather than later. We were speaking to Daria Kaliniuk. She is a corruption fighter here in Kyiv, and she says that she believes that the massive amount of wealth that Russian President Vladimir Putin's inner circle has managed to accumulate is his Achilles heel.
He parks his money through his trusted oligarchs in NATO member states. And these are billions of dollars. So this is the wealth of Vladimir Putin and his system. And if this weak point of the system will be targeted by the West, then the regime will be starting collapsing. Then they will need actually to think about, restoring or repairing democracy inside.
Now, in terms of sanctions, the United States legislators are preparing what's known as the mother of all sanctions packages. The United Kingdom also has prepared its sanction legislation, but Kaliniuk is calling out other U.S. allies, notably France and Germany. Earlier in the week, we all saw how the German chancellor would not be drawn on the question of the future of the Nord Stream 2 project. And experts say that that's because Europe is reliant on Russian gas, receiving some 40% of its gas supplies from Russia. They'll have a price to pay, potentially, should they introduce sanctions against the Kremlin. Nevertheless, voices in the United States and here in Kyiv calling on European allies to implement those sanctions. Erin McLaughlin, NBC News, Kyiv, Ukraine.
The FDA is taking steps to possibly lift restrictions on blood donations by gay men. Orlando Sanchez of Miami is a participant in an FDA study that could revise the rules. The general rules are part of an effort to keep HIV out of the blood supply. In 2015, a lifetime ban was replaced with a one-year abstinence requirement. During the pandemic, the FDA lowered the time to 3 months. A study in 8 cities, including Miami, is testing individual risk assessment of potential donors. Mask mandates are beginning to lift in several blue states as COVID cases are on the decline. But while Americans are anxious to get back to normal, there are questions about the timing. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Across the country, COVID cases are dropping, down 44% nationwide compared to last week. Hospitalizations down 25%, following the worst of the Omicron surge.
We're moving toward a time when COVID won't disrupt our daily lives, a time when COVID won't be a constant crisis.
Now a growing number of governors, many of them Democrats, are taking a big step toward normal by dropping statewide mask mandates. New York, the latest to announce the change.
We're not surrendering. This is not disarmament. We're going to continue to be adaptable and responsive to the changing circumstances.
For now, New York will still require masks in state-regulated nursing homes and schools. Neighboring Connecticut is dropping its in-school mandate while allowing local governments to set their own rules. Parents are split.
I think it's been too much. It's been going on too long.
I think the mandate should still be there, and I'm nervous.
Several teachers' unions calling for mask mandate rollbacks to be based strictly on science, not politics.
Are we going to ending up with a higher transmissibility in schools?
The CDC still recommends indoor masking where cases are substantial or high, and right now that's most of the country. But as for setting policy,
we've always said that these decisions are going to have to be made at the local level.
Signs of hope and lingering fears as a weary nation moves cautiously toward a new normal. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
In Gainesville, the Equal Access Clinic at the Main Street dedicates a night in Spanish on the second Monday of each month. Gynecology, cardiology, and pediatrics are among the many specialties served at the free clinics established by the University of Florida. Community members will be served on a first-come, first-served basis at any of the 4 facilities. On the second Monday of each month, the clinic has health providers who are fluent in Spanish in order to serve Spanish-speaking patients. UF Med students work hand-in-hand with professionals in the field.
Patients get great care because they get a more thorough history because the med students want to learn more about them. We have more time for patients than maybe you would get at a clinic.
This month's Spanish Night will take place next Monday, February 14th.
You know, Ophelia, it hasn't been raining as much as it has been this past weekend.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to change. Let's check in with Ashley Weinstein in the Weather Center for the forecast.
I've definitely been enjoying this nicer weather the last couple of days. You might have experienced some fog early this morning, but that has since cleared. Look at the beautiful conditions out by our campus cam. Not a cloud in sight, 62 degrees. Now we've had nearly a 20-degree temperature increase in the last 24 hours rather. 16 degrees warmer today in Ocala, 14 degrees warmer today in Gainesville, and 14 degrees warmer today in Stark. We could thank this high pressure system sitting out on the Gulf, drawing in those northwesterly winds. And look at our area. We have no activity, no cells moving in here for the next couple of days, and that system we had last week has since moved offshore. Now, even though we are having clear conditions, that doesn't mean it isn't going to get cold. We are going to have some radiational cooling overnight here, where temperatures are going to be in the mid-30s tomorrow morning with possible patchy frost. So be aware of that on your morning commute, but it will get quite warmer as the day goes on. We're flirting here with 70 degrees in the mid to late afternoon, so definitely have a short sleeve shirt under your jacket tomorrow morning. Which brings me to my 6-day outlook, where we see it's nicer today, Thursday and Friday, but we are expecting a possible cold front to pass on Saturday, so we are going to have a chance of showers Saturday and Sunday and cooler conditions moving into early next week. Now over to sports.
Welcome to sports. I'm Julianna Reichenbach. Tonight, Gator men's hoops looks to extend a 3-game win streak against the 6-17 Georgia Bulldogs. The Bulldogs are living a rough life, last in the SEC with a 1-9 record, but they came within 2 points of #1 Auburn in their last game. The Gators are coming off an overtime victory against Ole Miss. Center Colin Castleton returned to action after missing 6 games with a shoulder injury. According to Joe Lunardi's bracketology, the Gators are listed as one of the last 4 teams in the NCAA tournament. Head coach Mike White says he's not focused on the rankings, though. He sees Georgia as the top priority.
With Georgia, our transition defense, their offensive push is as good as anyone in our league off of makes or off of misses. I think they're the best cutting program in our league.
The game tips off at the O-Dome at 6:30 and can be seen on the SEC network. On the high school side, boys basketball districts tournaments intensify. Last night, 17-8 PK Young grabbed an early lead against Trinity Christian Academy. The Blue Wave remained close with the Conquerors for a while and ultimately pulled away in the 4th quarter to grab a 66-47 win. The Blue Wave advanced to the 3A District 2 semifinals for a road matchup with 13-11 Bishop Snyder. Meanwhile, in 4A District 4, 13-7 Santa Fe hosts 20-6 Denellen. Also, 7-4 Hawthorne hosts 2-18 Fort Meade. The Hawthorne Hornets boast the #1 seed in the 1A District 8. Moving over to 6A District 3, local rivals look to match up in the championship. The 13-3 Buchholz Bobcats hit the road to take on #1 seed Fleming Island. Meanwhile, the 16-9 GHS Hurricanes play the 18-7 Forest Wildcats. The winners will play in this Friday's district championship. That's your quick look at sports. Now, back to the desk.
Thanks, Julianna. And thank you at home for finding us on Facebook. I'm Samantha Narson.
And I'm Ophelie Jacobson. We invite you to join us on Channel 5 next week at 5 p.m. But remember, WUFT News is always on at WUFT.org. Have a great night.